Hey guys, welcome back from break. So today we're going to be doing absolute value equations. So your agenda for today, if you have not completed your Do Now task, please do that. That's our Do Now quizzes, so our review. We have our video lesson and then a practice quizzes. Alright, so steps to solve for these. You're going to make sure your absolute value expression is isolated. Then we're going to set inside of our absolute value equations equal to both positive and negative numbers from the other side of each equation. And then we'll solve both equations, and then we'll write our solution set in brackets. So our first two examples are already solved for the most part. So in this case, we're going to do two different equations. So we're going to do x is going to be equal to 2, because that's our positive. And then we have x is equal to negative 2, because that's changing that sign. So in this case, it's already solved. So we have x is equal to 2, negative 2. All right, our next one, same situation. So we have m is equal to 14. M is equal to negative 14. All right, so this case would be 14, negative 14. All right, this one, all right, so our first one's going to be 5z equals 40. And then our second one's going to be 5z equals negative 40. And then we just solve each one of these ones. Okay, so we're going to divide both sides by 5. So z is going to be equal to positive 8. And then this one, we're going to divide by 5 again. Z is going to be equal to negative 8. So our solution set is 8, negative 8 for this one. All right, similar situation. So our first one, we got negative 7a equals positive 28. Now we have negative 7a equals negative 28. So divide both sides by negative 7. A is going to be equal to negative 4. And this other one, divide both sides by negative 7. A is going to be equal to positive 4. Reason being is because a negative divided by a negative is going to be a positive number. So we have 4, negative 4. All right, a couple more. So d plus 1 is going to be equal to positive 8. And our second one is going to be d plus 1 equals negative 8. And we just solve like normal. So we're subtracting 1. D is going to be equal to 7. Subtract 1. D is going to be equal to negative 8 minus positive 1. We're going to go further into the negative, so it's going to be negative 9. So 7, negative 9. All right, one more of this type, and then we're going to have a little bit different stuff. So w minus 3 is equal to positive 4. W minus 3 equals negative 4. So we're going to add 3 to each side. W is going to be equal to 7 in this case. Going to add 3 to this side. W is going to be equal to negative 4 plus positive 3 is going to be negative 1. All right. So in these type of ones, just make sure that you're separating them into two different equations, and so you can solve. All right. What if there's stuff outside the absolute value bars? Got to isolate that variable. All right. We isolate that variable in the absolute value completely, just like we do with a normal variable. So in this case, we're going to subtract 2 from each side. So we have absolute value of c, 12 minus 2 is 10. Now we're going to split this into two equations again. So we have c equals 10. And then we have c equals negative 10. So I know our solution is going to be 10, negative 10. All right, next one. adding 8, because we got to isolate that variable. So we're going to have absolute value of y, negative 5 plus 8 is going to be positive 3. So splitting that into two different things, we have y equals 3, and we have y equals negative 3. So we know our set is 3, negative 3. All right. So what if we have a multiplication symbol with that? Solve it just like we would a normal multi-step equation when we isolate a variable. So we're going to do the opposite. So 6, we're going to divide by 6. So our equation is going to be absolute value of x equals 24 divided by 6 is 4. Split that into 2, so we have x equals 4. X equals negative 4. Already solved for us, so we get 4, negative 4. All right, so the big thing is just like we got to be able to isolate our absolute value, and then we just split those into 2 and then solve for our x or our variable, whatever letter it is. So this one we're going to divide by negative 2. All right, so our new equation is going to be z plus 3 in our absolute value equals negative 14 minus positive 2, we get negative 16. So our first equation is going to be z plus 3 equals positive 16. Our second equation is going to be z plus 3 equals negative 16. And then we just solve for our variable. Minus 3. Z is going to be equal to 13 in this case. In our other case, minus 3. Z is going to be equal to negative 16 minus 3. We're going to go farther into the negative, so it would be negative 19. So our solution set is 13, negative 19. Okay. If you have any questions on this stuff, please reach out to me. Okay. I have not heard from you for a little while. Outside when I reach out to you directly, please reach out. Okay. Your task, I'd like you to complete the short quizzes. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know.